on track to meet our full-year revenue guidance of 300 to 400 million. R&D expenditures have reduced to 95 million, mainly due to strategic reorganization of the ex-China team and prioritization of projects. Turning to the next page, page 7. On the guidance, as highlighted just now, we are on track to meet our full-year oncology and immunology revenue guidance of 300 to 400 million. So we are likely to achieve the high end of the guidance due to the potential additional commercial milestones from Takeda. In addition, we are also likely to receive EU and Japan related milestones in the second half. Moving on to the next page, page 8. On the balance sheet, as you can see, we continue to maintain a strong cash position of over 800 million. So on the bank borrowings, we are drawn from a low interest-bearing facility for the construction of our new Shanghai factory. We are getting net positive income as our actual borrowing rate is lower than our interest rate earned on our short-term deposit. Now I will pass to our head of commercial, George here. George.
Thanks, Johnny. First, as Dr. Su mentioned, we have a very strong start of fruquintinib in US. This show you the slides 10 show you the US results. We see a very strong Q1 and an even stronger Q2. And if you look at the future, we are expecting Japan approval in a very quick fashion, and also we are waiting for EU reimbursement decision. Next slide. And look at the China market, fruquintinib in a very competitive market, we still deliver a double-digit growth, and we are still the market leader in the third-line mCRC, and we believe the mCRC still has a room to grow in China. Additionally, we receive a Hong Kong approval for mCRC third-line. Next, move to the next slides. For SULANDA, this is we are delivered in the first half of this year. We deliver a very good growth, and we are the #2 brand in the NEM treatment market, and also we are gaining market share. If you look at the guideline, we get a multiple endorsement for the treatment in Cisco, in CAPA guideline, and also we believe there's a lot of room to grow because this area is still underdiagnosed, and some of the treatments still need to be more rational and to form the guideline. If you look at the next slides, the Opasis, our first-in-class MET inhibitor, we see the market become more crowded. The growth of the first half of this year is still strong, and the MET14 testing become a standard of care in the market. We still believe with AstraZeneca's strong platform in lung cancer, we can deliver a much stronger growth in China. Look forward, we are preparing our ITP market growth. If you look at this market, this is our first-in-class launch in China, and these products pave the way for us to move into immunology field, and we will sequence our business priority to address the low-hanging fruits first, then going to a major market after an ideal application. Then, if you look at the company, we are preparing the market, we are preparing the products, and we are preparing the organization to prepare the launch. And if you look at the overall China commercial environment, we believe with the current encouragement of China innovation, the market situation become more favorable for the innovative medicine. Now let's introduce Mike, our CMO.
Thank you, George. Next slide. Yeah, our product pipeline continue to grow and mature. As you can see, we're actually making a lot of progress. We have 6 NDA or supplementary NDA under review globally. And not only for fruquintinib, we have international approval based on the FRESCO-2 result. We also have the Frutiga and also the Fusica one for additional indication in gastric cancer, in endometrial cancer. More importantly, we also have a new product is under review. We have the savolitinib for the second-line ITP, and also a new product, tazemetostat, we licensed from Ipsen, also under priority review in China. And additionally, we have the savolitinib also for the confirmatory trial for MET exon 14 under review for first-line non-small cell lung cancer. So additional pipeline continue to grow. We are very excited later this year. Our partner, AstraZeneca, based on the Savannah trial, will have the potential to bring the savolitinib into the US NDA submission. And also in the next few years, we continue to advance our pipeline in the registration study. And Dr. Su mentioned about the Raphael study, our new class compound, IDH1 and 2 inhibitor, HMPL-306, also initiated the phase 3 trial. Next slide. Slide 18, we have presented our second-line gastric cancer for fruquintinib in combination with paclitaxel at the ASCO plenary early in February, and also had the updated results at the ASCO plenary session. We were really pleased that the robust clinical data showing the double the overall objective response rate and also the progression-free survival. And also we look at the longest overall survival in the second-line setting has been reported. And this NDA is currently under the CDE review. Slide 19, please. And also we update our FRUSICA trial, and fruquintinib with PD-1 sintilimab in the endometrial cancer reported the results at ASCO, and we have seen very robust overall response rate, 35.6% overall response rate, and the median PFS 9.5 months. So this NDA has been accepted under priority review at the CDE. Next slide. Also, our fruquintinib plus sintilimab in the RCC also fully recruited. We are waiting for the events for later this year. If positive, we're going to file additional NDA for fruquintinib in the RCC. Slide 21. And also, we are very excited about our next new product, our first innovative molecule, the SYK inhibitor. We reported results of our Islam-1 trial in the phase 3 at the EHA, and also with the simultaneous publication and Lancet Hematology. And really showing this compound has a very robust, best-in-class molecule in heavily pretreated patients. Over 75% of the patient pretreated with TPO-RA also show a very robust durable response rate, 48%, and overall response rate, 71%. And this platelet increase is very rapid within after a week. And also the side effect profile is very favorable compared with low off-target event, and there's no thromboembolic event like TPO-RA has. And also internationally, we started the phase 1 trial in ITP in US, EU, and Australia. And also at the EHA, we presented our clinical proof of concept trial for warm autoimmune hemolytic anemia, and also selected plenary presentation. Also show very robust 48% durable response rate and overall response rate of 67%. So the phase 3 trial is already started enrolling patients. And for international development, we really think this is a great molecule, has a best-in-class potential and multiple development opportunity, for example, in second-line ITP, in TPO-RA, pre-treated patient. And also, there are other opportunities in combination with standard of care, and also potentially secondary ITP or other autoimmune disease. Slide 22. We also excited to see the advancement for savolitinib, our MET inhibitor. We have approval in China, and also our global partner AstraZeneca is has completed the enrollment, and with the readout in the second, third line Tagrisso combination trial in MET aberrated patients. So the results we're waiting eagerly with the potential for our second international NDA later this year. And also in China, we already submitted the medicine 14 in the first line, and also as a confirmatory trial for full approval in medicine 14 skipping mutated patients. And also our second line EGFR refractory patient with meta amplification, the SACHI study, we're aiming to complete the enrollment later this year. And in addition, our partner and continue to enroll in the other 4 phase 3 trial ongoing, 2 led by AstraZeneca and 2 in China. Next slide. And also at the R&D Day, we update the outside world about we are launching this phase 2/3 trial of surufatinib in combination with chemo in first-line pancreatic cancer. This is really based on the high unmet need and also the robust clinical data we have seen from IIT trial in surufatinib plus camrelizumab, the PD-1 inhibitor, with S1 and Abraxane versus the standard of care AG. We can see the overall response rate of reaching 50% versus 27%, median PFS 9 months versus 5.8 months, and also the long overall survival 13 months. So this is really exciting data. We really continue to enroll in this phase 2/3 trial and further advancing our pipeline in this first-line PDAC. Slide 24. And also, I mentioned that Raphael trial has started enrolling patients. This is our first dual inhibitor, IDH1 and 2 mutant, double mutant inhibitor, and is addressing a high proportion of AML patients and with high unmet need. And we have reported our data, both the China AML trial and also the international trial. We have seen very robust dual CR response. Next slide. As you can see, we reported at the RP2D dose, which is the 250 milligram loading dose, followed by 100 milligram dose. We have observed very robust CR and the CRh rate in the IDH1 mutated patient. You can see we reach 50%, and in the IDH2 mutated patients, see 62.5%, which is really robust result if you're excluding the co-driver mutation with FLT3 KRAS. And also, very importantly, we observed very long overall survival, and we have seen the 13-month overall survival in this IDH1 and IDH2 mutated patients. So really showing this compound had a best-in-class potential in inhibiting both IDH1 and IDH2. So the phase 3 Raphael trial is currently ongoing and enrolling patients. We are very, very excited about this compound. Next, I'll turn back to Dr. Su.
Okay, thanks, Mike. To sum it up, we had a strong first half, and we are optimistic about the second half. Our previous target was to achieve profitability by end of 2025. We believe we are well on our way and potentially ahead of the curve. Looking ahead, there are a lot of events on this map, all lined up for 2025, 2026, and beyond. These events, if achieved, will help fuel the growth for years to come. This concludes the presentation, and thank you again for attending the call. Next is going to be Q&A.
Thank you, Dr. Su. Thank you, everyone, for presentation. Next, we will have the Q&A session. There are 2 ways that you can ask the question. You can type your question in the Q&A box by just pressing the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, or you can raise your hand, and after we call your name, we will unmute your line, and then you can ask your question directly. So let's first start with the very first question. It will be Alex Stranahan from Bank of America. So Alex, your line is now unmute. Please ask your question.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys, for the questions, and congrats on the progress in the first half. Great to see the Frizocla launch hitting on all cylinders in the US. 2 questions on Savannah. First, how do you see the data earlier this year at AACR for Savo as potentially reading into what we could see in the full data readout from Savannah later this year? And then who would be leading the US submission for Savo? And is the year-end timing sort of from you guys or from AstraZeneca or both? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Alec, for the question. So briefly, obviously, AstraZeneca is leading the trial, and but for NDA submission, it will be a complete package, including preclinical, early development. So we will be contributing to the package, but operationally, AstraZeneca is leading the whole thing. In terms of the data, I'll ask Mike to comment.
Yeah, so we have report our data previously, right? The WCLC and particularly MET-driven population, we do see a good MET amplified patient, with 50% overall response rate and over 7 months PFS. So certainly we are quite excited about this molecule and the clinical data. And so we'll expect the readout, of course, from AstraZeneca, right? Once the data mature enough later this year. If this is positive or repeat for previous study, previous result is certainly, per the agreement with FDA, this will be the NDA submission package as AstraZeneca is going to, submit. Yeah.
Great, thanks. And maybe one quick one, if I can, just on Fruquintinib. Given you guys are manufacturing for Takeda, what kind of inventory stocking dynamic do you expect is going on, and what kind of inventory levels are you guys shooting for? Thank you.
So we are obviously helping Takeda on the manufacturing. I think they are catching up on the inventory. In the early going, it was pretty thin. I think now pretty much caught up. At the same time, now we are preparing for European launch and also Japan launch as well. So we're basically doing full-time manufacturing for Takeda to support the preparation for launches.
Got it. Thank you, and congrats again on the progress.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. So our next question is from Chen Chen of UBS. Chen Chen, your line is now unmuted. Please ask your question.
Thank you, management, for taking my questions. So my first question is on Fruquintinib. Well, it has a very strong sales momentum in the US. So any chance for us to raise the sales guidance? And also, can management please elaborate a bit more on its EU sales strategy? And can you please also update on the regulatory approval status in China in second-line gastric cancer? Yeah, that's my first question. And my second question is on Sovleplenib. I want to know its China commercial strategy and what is our sales guidance for the first year of commercialization, and also any BD progress. And it would be good if we could also elaborate a bit more on its US and EU clinical trial plan. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. While we are happy with the early performance of Fruquintinib in the US, Takeda doesn't have any at the moment, doesn't have any updated or any update on the forecast or guidance. So we'll let you know as soon as we hear from Takeda on that. Regarding Europe, obviously it was approved in late June, and we've been supporting Takeda in preparation for launch there. And it's going to be country by country. Obviously, pricing negotiation, reimbursement, payer, etc. Obviously, it's very complicated. So, but we do expect potential launch before end of this year in Europe. And I think Japan will at the moment the India review is on track as well. Sovleplenib, obviously BD discussions are ongoing. We continue to engage with potential partners, and at the same time we just focus on clinical development globally or outside China. As Mike mentioned, the dose optimization study kicked off earlier this year, and we have multiple centers in US and Europe now open for, and we are just screening patients and enrolling patients at the moment. And I would expect that the business development discussions will continue along with clinical development as we progress through the dose optimization and towards potential registration or kickoff of the registration study. I think that's about clinical development. In terms of China commercialization or China preparation for China launch, a lot of work is going on at the moment. As George already pointed out, we are still working on the marketing strategy and also preparing the organization as well. So work is ongoing. At the moment we don't have any forecast for next year. I think we'll have to work through the models, and I think a major piece of it will be pricing. At the moment, we are not ready to make any decisions on that yet. So, when we are ready to share, we'll share with you with everybody our forecast going forward. So really nothing to share at the moment, other than to say we are working very hard to prepare for the launch.
Yeah, thanks for the information provided. And can you also please let us know the regulatory approval status of fruquintinib, like in second-line gastric cancer? Can we expect like anything in August or September?
So all we can say is the NDA review is still ongoing, and we don't comment. We actually can't comment on the regulatory processes. But maybe Mike, if you have anything to add, please chime in.
Yeah, I think like Dr. Su said, right, the regulatory is ongoing. We cannot comment on, and although we have prepared, the updates, right, for additional analysis to CDE, but we anticipate the decision will be Q3 this year. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's very clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chen Chen. Thank you, Dr. Su. Thank you, Mike. Just a reminder for anyone who want to type in the question, you can type the Q&A box and put in your question there. Next question is from Jeffrey's Kara Dong. Kara, your line is now unmuted. Please ask your question.
Hi, good morning. This is Clara for Kelly. Thanks for taking our question and congratulations on all the progress. So just one quick question on fruquintinib. After around 10 months of launch in the US, obviously we've seen really good launch momentum. Wondering, have you seen any dynamic of fruquintinib being used in earlier lines in colorectal cancer? And wondering, have you and your partner Takeda discussed any opportunity for fruquintinib beyond geographic expansion, and like what's the appetite like for potential further development? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Clara, for the question. Obviously, U.S. launch is still young and very early into the launch. We don't have any information. Actually, Takeda has not shared with us any information regarding usage in early lines. With regard to clinical development, or maybe Mike can share more about data generated in China in earlier lines, second line, first line, as well as maintenance setting, and these are very I think there are a lot of strong data there, and we continue to discuss with Takeda how we position in this particular disease segment. Mike.
Yes. So we have done quite some IIT study in earlier line setting. First, I think reported both at ESMO last year and also ASCO GI and the ASCO this year, right? Their first line maintenance setting combined with capecitabine, we actually see very good tolerability and the long PFS1 and PFS2 that was reported. And also in the second line setting, there are also multiple IITs really working on the combination with standard of care, including FOLFIRI. And also that was reported have a pretty good overall response rate and the PFS. So it's certainly the safety for combo is really well. That's really reflect the fruquintinib's highly specific VEGF inhibitor and combined with a lot of other therapies, right? PD-1 chemo or so. And also we see the combination with PD-1 also see quite good survival data. So we're providing all these information to Takeda, and certainly the Takeda team is well aware of and positioning their development down the road. Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Dr. Su. Our next question on the line will be Cavendish, Mr. Adam McCarter. Adam, your line is now unmuted. Please ask your question.
Thanks, David. Thanks everyone. Great presentation, and obviously congratulations on the result. Great to see the news on Frizzaqla and the momentum it's gaining in the US. I guess just my first question really is again just on fruquintinib and the story that's evolving there in gastric cancer. So obviously, not asking the management team to predict the outcome, but I don't know if you could sort of give us an indication of how confident sort of you are in the strength of the data package that's been submitted to the Chinese regulators. And then just a sort of a second question just on looking at the costs going forward into the second half of the year. Obviously, we saw the first period, so quite a reduction in the R&D expenses, but just wanted to understand sort of how to think about that going forward, obviously with the initiation of the ESLIM-02 and the Raphael phase 3 studies into the second half of the year. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Adam, for the questions. Maybe I'll ask Mike to comment on fruquintinib GC and also the Raphael study, and Johnny can comment on expected cost in second half. Mike, go first.
Yeah, I think we did mention earlier, right? This the clinical data was presented at ASCO plenary and ASCO, right? The data was quite strong. If you can see the response rate, the PFS really doubled, and this study was designed with PFS and OS dual primary endpoint. I just want to emphasize, right, if one of the endpoint is positive, it's considered as a positive trial. And, the OS in particular, it does not reach the statistical significance, but we did observe this is the reported OS is actually quite long, compared with in the second line setting. One of the reasons it did not reach statistical significance is really we have reported during the ASCO plenary and also the publication published in the Nature Medicine. There's an imbalance of the post treatment, right? And there's a significant higher percentage of patient in the placebo arm, almost 20% higher received the post treatment therapy. And so this is one the region it did not reach statistical significance, but we believe this is clinically relevant numerical increase OS, and is somehow confounded by the post therapy treatment. Okay, so again, the data was submitted, and I also mentioned additional analysis, whatever we reported the CDE, but I cannot comment about the approval. So I think the decision will come most likely by Q3. Yeah.
Okay, so on the R&D expenditure, first half, as you can see, we spent about 95 million. Certainly, I think we haven't given any guidance to the market in terms of the total full year R&D expenditure, but you can expect because of the phasing, one should expect that we will continue to invest in our R&D program. So second half, you can expect we will ramp up more R&D investment. Certainly, it will be more than our first half. So full year, I think is still within the range that we have basically given some indication earlier that we will continue to invest in a similar level of last year. But certainly this year overall, I think would be less than last year slightly. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you everyone, and congratulations again on the results.
Thank you, Adam. Our next question is Paul Choi from Goldman Sachs. Paul, your line is now unmuted. Please ask your question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for taking the questions. Good evening. My first question is just with regard to tazemetostat, Tazverik in China. Can you comment first on your appetite to explore it in additional indications beyond follicular lymphoma, particularly either post-BTK or post-BCL? It seems like there's logic to target opportunities like double-hit lymphoma and other lymphomas. And then second, in terms of the cadence of development for savolitinib, I know you've obviously targeted ITP first here and additional indications, but just can you maybe also comment on what the cadence of what we should expect next in terms of development might be? Thank you.
Okay, Mike, why don't you take your first comment on this?
Yeah, thank you, Paul. I think tazemetostat, right, is a first-in-class EZH2 inhibitor. And to follow your question, not only in the our filing is the third-line follicular lymphoma. It was based on the bridging study for the global study, and we're also currently doing a second-line follicular lymphoma along with our partner Ipsen. This is a global phase 3 trial in the second-line FL. We are working together with Ipsen on the enrolling that phase 3 trial is the tazemetostat combined with R-square versus R-square. So this is certainly a big indication to expand the indication. And also currently we are, at least for mechanistically, we are evaluating other opportunity for this indication. We have some combination study, exploring the PI3K combination with tazemetostat, and certainly Ipsen has done quite some exploratory study before, so we're working with Ipsen to address any of the new indication development. Yeah, and savolitinib internationally, right? Because I certainly we see the ITP, the durable response rate 48% is really robust compared with any of these ITP treatment, because this mechanism, we believe it is actually quite unique. It blocking the phagocytosis through the Syk inhibition, and also working on the B cell to reduce the autoantibody production. So certainly this is a dual mechanism, really explain this superiority compared with other molecule. And also particularly we are excited about these, the patients are over 75% actually treated with the TPO-RA. Average prior line therapy is 4 line. So certainly ITP is one first indication, but we believe this go far beyond that. And WIHA also currently we're doing this trial in China, and this is certainly is a high unmet need because there's just no standard therapy, second line therapy globally, nothing. Yeah, and so this is certainly a great indication to continue to develop for the registration path. And also we're working, we think the Syk pathway is has a lot of opportunity, autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis, with all the other indication. So we think certainly we are working on additional possible POC trial to further explore the opportunity for savolitinib.
Thanks, Mike. I just want to add though, Paul, regarding tazemetostat, yes, we have at the moment follicular and epithelial sarcoma, but there have been quite some progress in clinics in solid tumors, including Pfizer's recent report on CRPC. So internally, we are looking at these various potential solid tumors, obviously biomarker driven, both in addition to CRPC, potentially ovarian, small cell lung cancer, and so forth. So these, I think it would be even more exciting than the third line follicular, where it's been obviously it's getting quite crowded there. But still, tazemetostat has a great safety profile, can be combined with many other therapies, in the second-line setting in combination with R-square, for instance, well tolerated, and in the dose optimization study, and also the early proof of concept, great data there as well. So we think it's got great potential.
Thank you, Dr. Su. Thank you, Mike. Paul, does that answer your questions? Okay. So just a reminder, for anyone with questions, please type in the Q&A box or raise your hand. The next question comes from Yang Jing from Shanghai Pudong Development Bank. Yang Jing, your line is now unmuted. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Thanks, management, for taking my question. Congratulations on the strong results. I've got two quick questions. The first one is on fruquintinib. We have seen the strong US sales, and I'm wondering if Takeda have shared with us the doctor's feedback on fruquintinib. So in terms of the patient's constitutions, have we seen more patients who are relapsed from the LONSURF or the new third-line CRC patients who never used LONSURF before? And regarding for the quarterly sales trajectory of fruquintinib, considering we have Europe approval already and also Japan imminent approval, how do we think about the quarterly sales trajectory? For the full-year overseas sales of fruquintinib, what are our current sales guidance for the overseas of fruquintinib? And the second question is about our bottom line, because we are surprised to see that company has achieved the net income in the first half. And in the opening remark, I believe we mentioned that HutchMed might achieve break-even ahead of prior guidance year 2025. So does that mean we will achieve break-even 2024 and turn profitable in afterwards? These are my two questions. Thanks, management.
Okay, thanks for your question. So with regard to patient mix in the US, we have no clarity at the moment. At least Takeda hasn't shared it with us. But during the FRESCO-2 study, obviously the study population was patients already failed